Hi everyone, I thought I'd take a look at the new Hornby Standard Class 2 today. I ordered one of these, or pre-ordered one of these, I think at the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. So what's that, nearly, well, 3 or 4 years ago this has been in the works. So I'm not sure what the delay was, why it took so long. I'll probably blame it on COVID or something. But it's finally here anyway, or the first one of the initial 3 is. So I'm pretty impressed with this straight out the box. This is literally it running for the first time. I haven't run it in at this point or anything. I've just took it straight on the track and given it a bit of a blast. And it's quite heavy for a small locomotive. It runs really well. As you can see here, it's very smooth. It's geared so it runs very slowly, which I know a couple of people have kind of complained about, but I'd say that's an absolutely massive positive. I want all of my locomotives to be geared this slowly, so I can get really good slow speed. They can shunt very realistically, which looks great on all the kind of videos that I film. I'm not going to have this blasting around at 120 miles an hour. So I think this is the way to go going forward on everything. So I'm really pleased that they've done that. Yeah, it all just looks really smart, really. I've got it here on some flat wagons. I'll look at it in a bit more detail in a sec, but yeah, first impression straight out the box, really happy with it. So this is after running in for about 5 minutes. I thought I'd give the slow speed a bit of a test, and this is crazy how slow it is. And this is on dirty track as well. Like I don't use this layout as much these days, my original layout. So I don't really clean the track very often. So I've just plonked it down on it after not having used it for a month. And this is the slow speed I'm getting, which is one of the best I think I've ever seen. Yeah, really smooth acceleration. I mean, you can't really fault that, can you? That's as good as it gets, I'd say. And that's got to be from just having the gear in lower, I think. I'm just messing around on the controller at the minute, turning it up slightly and down slightly and just seeing, how consistent it is. The valve gear looks awesome. I think they've just absolutely nailed it. Yeah, really good. Right, one last shot of it coming through the into the tunnel after a bit of running in. No issues with haulage either, so I'm testing it here on my rake of heavier Bachmann bullet coaches. So I've got 6 of them, and it got them up the gradients on my big layout, absolutely no problem at all, just cruise straight up there. It must have a pretty decent motor in it, but I haven't taken it apart. There's the box. I've just put some of the details on. You get this nice little snow plough on the front. I think this was a Scottish based example, so that's quite cool. I found a couple of archive clips of them running in Scotland as well. I think this is Blythe Station. There's one coming in and out of the station now. You can see how grubby these had got by the early and late 1960s. I'm going to try and weather mine up a bit cleaner than that, but I was just looking at these clips to get a bit of inspiration of how they would have looked back in the day. Right, so I've just had this on the weathering bench and just got it onto my other layout now, just to give it a bit of a run and run some of the muck off the wheels and the pickups. It never runs quite as well after I've just weathered it, so got to kind of give it a good half an hour or so to burn that off after cleaning the wheels. So having a bit of a closer look at it, the only quality control issue I could see was that those pipes on the front there on the right hand side of the smoke box are slightly bent, so if I push them down they kind of go the right way. Maybe they just got bent in the box. I mean, it's not really that noticeable. You could glue them down if you wanted to, but this runs so well I wouldn't dare send it back and change it for another one because of that. So I've just done the usual weathering on this. I've glossed the boiler and glossed the tender sides there, stuck a lamp on the front, got the crew in, stuck some coal in and just weathered it up. I've put the front steps on. I fitted them slightly further out than how they should be because I couldn't get this around my third radius curves with the steps fitted in the slots that are on there. So I just cut the kind of little nib bit on it that goes in there and glued them on. And then I've also glued the cylinder drain cocks on the front as well, and just made sure that they're a little bit kind of bent at the front too. And once I'd tweaked that, I could get it around my third radius curves with all the details on, no problem. I've also close coupled this. There's 2 settings you can have it on. I have everything on my layout close coupled, so and they all get around my third radius curves without any issue at all. The tender derailed a couple of times when it was going through my tunnels, but that's just because the KD coupling I've got on the back is too short, so the buffers were basically getting locked up, so I just need to put a different one on. But again, it's still really smooth even after I've got a bit of paint and stuff on the back of the wheels after weathering it. So yeah, it looks really good. I pre-ordered this so long ago that I think I ended up paying a lower price than what you can get them for now. I think because it was so long, they put the price up quite a bit. But I mean, if you really like the BR standards like I do, this is a no-brainer to get one of these. Really, they're just really nice. So just still giving it a bit of a test here. I've ran it through all these points and it just cruises through those without any issue. Yeah, really happy with it overall. It's great when you have a locomotive that has a nice kind of consistent smoothness to its running, because it makes it a lot easier for me to film and try and match up the sounds to the real wheel revolutions and things like that. Yeah, another interesting thing I liked actually was that there's not a hole where from the coal space into the cab. So when I put the glue on top of the coal, it didn't all just pour through into the cab like it sometimes does. So you can fill that up, no problem. Just running it out tender first here, just to finish off the review, and it's running fine in backwards as it was in forwards. So yeah, really smooth and controllable. So I'd absolutely recommend one of these if you're thinking about it, and you can maybe get one at a bit of a discount because they are quite expensive if you're buying them, straight from Hornby. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend one, and I'll just leave you with a couple of shots of it running now as well.